goes to Perry Meridian High School. We are at Falcon Stadium, Ray Skillman Field, for tonight's contest between the Plainfield Quakers and the Perry Meridian Falcons. I am sitting alongside, this is Brent Schwanekamp, your play-by-play guy. Sitting beside me tonight, a little different voice. We're going to have Mr. Michael Mincer, assistant principal at Plainfield High School. And for those of you who have been to a Plainfield home game in the last couple of years, you'll know him as the PA announcer for our home stadium. And Mr. Utterback is not available tonight, but Mr. Mincer will be joining us to help us with some color commentary.
I'm excited to be here, Brent. I've spent the last couple of weeks listening to you and Mr. Utterback. Coach Utterback spent some football knowledge. I don't have a lot of it, but I don't think half the people I watch on TV, on the NCAAs and NFL do either. So we're gonna have some fun.
Well, you've been to a couple football games as an assistant principal, as an athletic director, and as a fan for sure. And we'll try to capture what's going on here tonight for the fans and get to share from their living room what we get to see in person. So tonight the Quakers, 1-2 on the season, 0-1 in the Mid-State Conference, travel to Perry Meridian. Perry is 0-3 so far this year, 0-2 in the conference. They're coached by Brett Cooper, graduate of Glenbard South High School in Illinois, as well as North Park University, also in the Chicago land area. This is Brett's first year at Perry Meridian, his fourth year overall as a head coach. He has previous experience as the head coach at Indian Creek, but he has some Mid-State Conference experience coaching on the staff at Greenwood for several years. Perry Meridian last week traveled to Franklin Community and got beat there 35-0. Perry Meridian, though, as I watched film, has some really dynamic football players. I'm really impressed with their running back, Aiden Warren, as well as wide receiver number 1, Reggie McDonald. He's number 1 in the program, and he's number 1 on the stat sheet, too. He's got 17 catches for almost 250 yards already on the season, a big, long 55-yard gain against Decatur Central, and he's a dynamic football player for sure, and you'll be enjoying watching him tonight. Hopefully the Quakers can keep him in check. He's a two-way guy, and he's gonna definitely butter the bread for Perry Meridian tonight. The Quakers, like I said, they come in 1-2. Lost to 4A number 1 Mooresville last week at home, 21-41. Mooresville's a really good team. They were really good up front. Again, had some really good, really strong running backs, some good playmakers on offense, and they really played well last Friday. I think the best thing that came out of that game for the Quakers was Juan Nieto. You were there, you watched it too, Mr. Mincer, and what do you think about Juan on the ground?
Yeah, super impressed with him in the ground game. You know, the first couple of weeks we really threw the ball well, but the running game was non-existent. And to have him get some open holes, that line did a nice job of getting right up the middle, too, it seemed like. So hopefully that can carry over. And, you know, obviously big game for both teams. Mid-State Conference is early in the season, and you never know what's going to happen, so they both want to bounce back tonight.
Yeah, you know, Juan was 25 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. That pushed him almost to 250 yards on the season, averaging 4.5 a carry. He did a really nice job. Aiden Moyers continues to be very accurate, 65% completion percentage so far this season with 3 touchdown passes. He was able to find Cale Vanderbush for a touchdown last week. That pushes Cale to 2 touchdowns on 18 catches. He's the number 7 receiver in Central Indiana, and Aiden's the number 8 passer. So definitely they're filling up the stat sheet. Want to get on the win side, though, tonight. That's going to be really important for the Quakers.
Well, I think that's what that running game last week does, is adds another thing that the Perry Meridian has to prepare for. So if we can go multi-dimensional within our offense, it just adds weapons, and our skill players are very talented.
So Perry Meridian comes out from their tunnel. Perry is in the powder blue jerseys with white helmets and white pants. Quakers again in their white jerseys with white pants and silver helmets with the shield on the side. The Quakers are coached by Brian Woodard. Brian is a 1992 graduate of Avon High School on the west side and a 96 graduate from the University of Evansville. Brian is in his 15th year as the head coach at Plainfield with an 84-70 record. His staff has done a really nice job for many years, but they're definitely looking to bounce back tonight. And that's always how you can tell a good staff, the work that they put in, and the fact that their players are buying in. This is the time of year where you start to get some injuries, some sophomores, some juniors, some guys who maybe in week 1 weren't counted on to make plays are now going to be asked to do some things, and we're going to see some of that. There's a little bit of bouncing, I think, in both lineups. Look like in the warm-ups that Perry may have a couple changes from what the depth chart said early in the week. So maybe some guys had some good weeks of practice and challenge their opponent, the guys ahead of them on the depth chart. We'll see that here in just a minute. On the season so far, good balance from the Quakers. They're 74 yards a game rushing. That definitely got a boost from the HO last week. Passing the ball for about 160 yards a game, 230 total offense. Perry is about 55 yards a game on the ground, 95 yards in the air. Perry's just averaging just under 10 points a game, while the Quakers are averaging over 16. Again, the leading rusher for the Quakers is Nieto for Perry Meridian. That was 27. Aiden Warren, he's averaging 60 yards a carry. He's a multiple-time Mid-State Conference, all-conference player, a returning starter, and a really good player for them. Leading passers, we know about Moyers for the Quakers. It's Gavin Hart, number 12, the right-handed senior, has led the way at quarterback for Perry. Not super accurate on the season so far, only 35% completion percentage, but man, he does find a way to get it to McDonald in some really tight spots, and McDonald definitely is a playmaker, number 1. He's their leading receiver. Leading tackler for the Quakers is number 44, Mason Scott. Coach Utterback loves watching him. Michael, he loves watching him play sideline to sideline, makes tackles. He really loves watching him diagnose it. You can tell Coach Utterback is a former linebacker coach and really dialed into Mason and the speed he brings on the field. All right, looks like 2 Quakers are stepping out there. That's number 74. Should be Dylan Ponder, and number 17, the quarterback, Aiden Moyers. They're coin toss, and number 1, that's McDonald for Perry, as well as number 38, I think. My old eyes are letting me down. 38, that would be Jeff McClure. They're out for the coin toss. They're definitely socially distanced from each other, the officials, as they go for the coin toss here. School colors are navy, powder blue, and silver. We see that. Right amount of property and trying to squeeze it in here on their property, but they've done a really nice job. And in a school corporation like this, Perry Township has both Southport and Perry Meridian as part of their township.
They used to share a field, right?
Absolutely. They share the field at Southport, and I'm sure it means something to Perry to be able to have their own field, their own home field, not having to share, kind of like the Staples Center, right, for the Lakers and the Clippers, having to share the same facility. So that can be challenging for schools, and it's really nice that they have this beautiful facility. Great press box. We have the best seats in the house tonight as we get ready to get started. That's going to be 98 Harris Nichols. He's our kicker, senior. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. We'll tee it up. And Perry Meridian goes with 2 deep returners. That's 1 McDonald and I think 23, which would be, Isaiah Hunter, a sophomore. Ball goes deep. Hunter's going to take the ball at his 3-yard line, takes it into the middle there, where he's tackled by number 14. That's Corbin Lucas, the senior, runs down there the field on special teams. Coach Sloan's team does a nice job of pinning the ball and really shrinking the field, kick it in the corner, and allows them to kind of squeeze it in there. All right, well, Perry will come out in a multiple offensive attack here. Their offensive coordinator is Ryan McDonald. They're a pro style. They're going to be under center. We joked last week that no one's ever in the gun, and then here they come out and they're in the gun. Looks like a different quarterback in there. That's going to be the junior Mason Rollman. He was the guy I saw in warm-ups getting some work there. Warren is in the backfield with Rollman. Here comes McDonald in motion. A little motion there, it looked like early.
It's got to be a coach's headache there, starting the game with a false start.
I've been in that situation as an offensive coordinator, and 1st and 15 wasn't where you wanted to start for sure. So looks like we are in 20 personnel. We got 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers for Perry Meridian. They go 2 receivers into the boundary, 1 receiver to the top of the field. Rollman claps his hands and tell the center he's ready for the football, puts McDonald in motion. Little counter action, gives the ball there to 27. That's Aiden Warren. He advances the ball, picks up the 5 yards they lost on the penalty on first down.
There you see Mason Scott working up the line, getting the tackle, just like Coach Utterback talking. He's so explosive. You see him not only rush the passer really well, but also chase something down from behind.
Definitely see a couple jersey numbers I wasn't ready for, but that's okay. 23, Isaiah Hunter. He was deep on the kickoff. He's by himself here to the left. 2 receivers to the top. We have Warren flanking Rollman. A little bit of a pistol formation where the tailback is straight behind the quarterback. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. He prepares the ball. He's going to give the ball again. And Quakers are right there quickly to make the tackle. That looks like 6 Jack Beebe.
Jack Beebe, what a great two-way player. Always on the ball defensively, and then a good option for us at wide receiver.
You know, one of the new starters for the Quakers defense is 14 Corbin Lucas. The senior is checked in at outside linebacker. Haven't seen him in the lineup as a starter yet. Also looks like Nick Baker, 77 Romero. All right, so brings up 3rd and 8. It's a long 3rd down. Hopefully the Quakers can stop them here. Rollman calls for the ball. He's a lefty. Play fake. He boots to his right. Ball is low. Looks like it is incomplete. You know, one thing to note here is, you know, as an offensive coordinator, he last couple weeks at the quarterback has been a right-handed quarterback. Definitely liked moving him to his right. Now with a lefty, you know, that's a little bit harder moving to your right there. And Rollman kind of didn't get downhill like he probably wanted to, and made a hard pass there to his tight end.
Good pressure by 44 Mason Scott and 12 Ethan Monday to force that as a bad throw.
That's important. Pressure, especially a guy getting his first start. You know, that's only the 7th pass of the season for Rollman. All right, McDonald is the punter for Perry Meridian. They go with a spread punt formation, a 3-man wall set there at about 6 yards. Snap to McDonald. Oh, not a great punt. A little bit of a spiral to it. There was pressure by Beebe, and Hessong catches the ball there. Oh, no, pardon me. That's Herbeck, 3. It's going to be Quakers ball here on the right hash mark on the 46. Quakers are going to come out here. They're going to want to get some tempo, get some momentum going right away. Get some trying to get on the board here first and really set the tempo of the game.
That's something to keep an eye on, though. They've got their most explosive player as a punter. That puts a little
Coach
keep
Sloan,
an eye on
I'm
them.
sure Coach Sloan watched a few extra snaps of him punting just to kind of get a feel for him. All right, Perry's left defensive end looks offsides from the pre-snap, and then 2 guys jumped right away. So on offense, Perry false starts. On defense, they're offsides. The Quakers love that. Now they're going to start off 1st and 5. While 1st and 15 is not where you want to be as an offensive coordinator, 1st and 5 is. They got a lot of options here.
Yeah, as a coach, you talk about shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, 2 plays right off offensively and defensively, you're putting yourself in a hole.
All right, so here we go here. Again, number 4 there, that's James Barnes. Got a swing out there to Hessong. He gets the edge, takes off. A big gain for the Quakers. That looks like 18, Jawan Dale, one of the top tacklers for Perry, but flag comes in late. Yeah, I think so.
Personal foul.
I think you're right. That's a nice job. You know, the bubble screen pass, you know, popularized up in West Lafayette there by Coach Joe Tiller and the Purdue Boilermakers, and man, it really makes the defense defend the entire field and really stretches them wide. Quakers did a nice job of blocking there on the perimeter, and then boom, get a big play and maybe a penalty to add right onto it.
Yeah, I think 6 Jack Beebe did a nice job of sealing the edge, if I think that's a football terminology, so that Hessong could get outside.
All right, well, it looks like Cale Vanderbush, our leading receiver, is going to step in here at quarterback. This is an interesting formation. We got Nieto split to the right. Beebe's in the slot. Woodard, the super back, is to the right as well. Vanderbush puts Hessong in motion, flips the ball, gets a nice block by Beebe. Hessong is off to the races, but a late flag, and that was kind of right where Beebe's block was, back in towards the box. One of the things there that you have to be careful about on that block, because you're going back towards the box, towards the ball, that becomes a penalty there because he went low, and I think that's what the official called. If you're blocking away from the block, away from where the football was snapped, you have a few more options there. So we got a little crackback block there by 6 BB, I think, and that's going to push us back, and the Quakers are going to be first down and long.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. That's a pass, right?
Yep, it's a
they
jet.
Consider that a pass.
That's a jet sweep. Low, not a lot of risk there, right? So if Hessong can't handle it, different than a handoff, can't handle it, just an incomplete pass. That's one of those things that Coach Woodard talks about with the official before the game. Lets them know that they're going to be doing that so that you don't want the official to screw it up in the heat of the moment. All right, Quakers go 3 wide receivers. Woodard moves right to left, the super back. Moyers takes the ball, gives it to Nieto. Fake to Nieto, pulls it out, goes to Hessong. A little quick play action pass, and what was 1st and 25, cut that in half there with a nice gain of 12.
Yeah, it must be something they've seen on film because they're exploiting that slot receiver position with Noah Hessong right there.
Yeah, and we talk about those matchups are really important. How do you get your best players matched up against somebody that they think you think they can beat in space? And Hessong is a dynamic player as a sophomore. All right, there's number 4. That's James Barnes. That's the second time he's been a little bit quick on the snap, and Coach Cooper is going to send in a sub there. That's 24, Jalen Summers, the 6'3", 215-pounder, checks in at defensive end. You'll notice as you watch Perry, they're an odd front, Michael. They're going to have 3 hands on the ground. They're going to have a nose tackle over the football all night. They're going to play with a 5 linebacker set. A lot of teams, this was a very popular defense, kind of evolved from the 4-4. Fewer hands, can bring lots of pressure. We'll kind of see how they play with it tonight. Give to Nieto, goes straight ahead, and that's a nice job by 5, Alex Reyes. The senior comes in off the edge and is able to trip up Nieto and bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. Looks like the Cooper Springs checking in for the Quakers. That means we're going to go 10 personnel. We're going to have 4 wide receivers in there with Nieto. As soon as they saw that, I saw some of the Perry defensive coaches jumping up and down trying to get a signal in. 3 receivers to Moyer's right, Nieto to his right. Go with a long count, and again, 5 free yards. That's a nice job with the hard count.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Teams do it differently. Obviously, Aiden's using his voice there, but last week we saw Mooresville that uses the clap symbol. So different ways you can get people on that hard snap.
Perry does that too, and it's interesting. The rule says you can't simulate the snap, and so it's interesting to see how officials do that. Sometimes we'll see that they'll actually call that on the quarterback if he's barking and nodding his head too much. Aiden has it down to a science. All right, BB in the single wing. He's going to take the snap. We have Hessong to his right. He goes in motion. Fake to Hessong. BB goes straight ahead. Oh, second effort. I don't know if he had it initially, but he had a nice surge, good leg drive, and was able to fall forward for the first down, and it'll be 1st and goal there on the 7-yard line for the Quakers.
Perry did a nice job of getting the pressure initially, but great second effort by BB, spun around and was able to get that first down.
We're waiting, and they've done. The Quakers love this single wing. They like to go to that direct snap to BB, one of their best players, and dynamic football players. Can't blame them for wanting to do that. So the Quakers are going to go here again with BB. Here comes Hessong in motion. Fake to Hessong. There comes BB back to the left this time. Dives ahead and gets down there close to the goal line. Not enough just yet. Perry's playing tough inside, trying to make him run another play. Defensively here, just hold them out. Make them run as many plays. Try to get them in 4th down and make a stop.
I was actually talking to Jack in the cafeteria this week, and I said, hey, can you actually throw out of this position? And he said, so we usually see him run.
He gives you the that's
yeah, run it straight up the gut.
All right.
Which is successful.
Yeah. Ain't broke, don't fix it. There it is. Straight ahead. BB in for a touchdown. Jack BB in for the Quakers on the touchdown. That's Jack's 4th rushing touchdown of the season. That's a great set. We've been using that for several years here since Coach Moyers is here, kind of getting that best ball carrier of the ball. He's a nice change up from Nieto and did a nice job there. We got Nichols is in here to kick. The holder will be Carson Works, 16. BB is listed as the snapper. I can't see if that's who is snapping it here. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up, and it's good. So with 7 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Quakers strike first and go up 7-0. Nice drive by the Quakers, had some penalties, were able to kind of bounce back. Being in a 1st and 25, be able to answer that was really nice.
Yeah, and to kick off to start the game and to get the first score is big, because then we look at halftime, we'll get that opportunity. So I always wonder what goes through football coaches' minds when they win the coin toss. Kick it off if you feel like your offense is stronger. So that's something I always kind of pay attention when I watch football, just to see how the head coaches.
It's definitely a mindset, definitely a mentality. I love kicking off to start the game, because I know you got in your back pocket, you get the ball to start the second half. So even if you can play for a draw in the first half, you've got the advantage to start the second half.
Does wind play any?
Absolutely, wind plays into it. The direction you kick. I typically like, there's a little bit of a breeze here behind our back, and that's why Coach Woodard decided to kick to the scoreboard. On a dead night, you kick away from the scoreboard so you can see the scoreboard as you're ending the half, so as you're running a 2-minute drill. Little things like that, coaches have been perfecting over the years. I could be wrong, but it looked like Coach Cooper's father, Robin Cooper, a former head football coach at University of Evansville, among places, is a special teams coordinator. It's always kind of fun to see a father-son duo. We'll talk a little more about the Coach Cooper Sr. here as we go on tonight, because he has several connections to the Quakers. Nichols tees it up, kicks it deep. Looks like that's going to be 23 again. That's Isaiah Hunter, also a wide receiver for Perry, but the ball travels in the end zone for a touchback. All right, so Perry's going to come out here. Definitely, I'm sure that Coach McDonald, the offensive coordinator, Coach Cooper, the head coach, what they're looking for here is, let's get a first down. Let's get some control. Let's get some momentum. Try to answer here. Definitely want a positive play here to start on this drive. All right, so it looks like we're going to go with 3 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Rollman is in the shotgun. Warren is behind him. He moves off to the left there. Rollman takes off to the left. It's going to be just a quarterback sweep. He stopped. That's a great job by Lucas, even though he was double-teamed, of really setting the edge. And there's old Mason Scott chasing it down from the backside and holding them for a negative play.
Yeah, it appeared that 94 Bailey Haston was able to take on 2 or 3 blockers as well, which allowed Mason to get around the edge and get that tackle.
When you have those 2 firm guys with Lucas and Haston on the strong side, that really stopped what Perry thought was an advantage with the quarterback sweep. All right, here we go. 2 backs in the backfield. We have 2 receivers to Rollman's left, 1 to the right. Here comes McDonald in motion. Handoff to Warren. He tries the right side and then met by a wall of Quakers there, and a nice job defensively. That was a play, a little counter play with pullers that was really effective for Mooresville. I'm sure the Perry staff watched that film and kind of said, okay, how do we do that? And I think they're trying here. They haven't been able to find a whole lot of success with it just yet.
Yeah, Warren got hit in the backfield. That's a nice job of using his leg drive to actually pick up a +1.
Yeah, so here we go now. This time we got 21 personnel. We got a tight end. Oh, it looks like they might be taking a little page out of the Quaker playbook. Snap directly to McDonald. That's their wide receiver. He tries the right-hand side, and he gets to meet Mr. Mason Scott, who unlocks his hips and really drives him backwards.
Nice job of filling that gap. And correct me if I'm wrong, they run the Wildcat formations because that adds an extra blocker.
Right.
When the quarterback
has
the ball.
If your quarterback is just handing the ball off and watching, he's not holding a defender. That's why a lot of teams run the option and some different things to try to use that quarterback to account for a defensive player, because otherwise you're always playing 10 on 11. But, yeah, that's definitely an advantage of that. That is going to be a short punt from McDonald to the left. Only changes the field position by about 20 yards there, and the Quakers are going to start deep in Perry Meridian field. Looks like about the 38-yard line or so. That's a great field position for Coach Moyers and the Quakers offense.
Yeah, important part of the game is field position, and so far the Quakers are dominating that area over the Falcons.
Well, I know you've noticed this. Reggie McDonald, number 1, hasn't come off the field yet. He's played corner, he's played receiver, he just carried the ball. His legs are going to get tired, and for him, to have a short punt is not a surprise. Quakers go 2 by 2. Moyers takes the snap, looks right, throws the ball to Vanderbush with a leaping, stretching catch. He makes it at the 30-yard line, gain of 8 yards. That's a nice job by Aiden throwing the ball up and away where only his 6'6" wide receiver, the junior, 15, Vanderbush makes the catch.
Yeah, really nice job by Aiden Moyers by being patient there, because initially Kale wasn't open. He was kind of getting held, but made some space for himself. A nice catch, getting his feet in on the sideline.
It's interesting to watch because it looks like Perry is definitely trying to match guys. So Quakers go unbalanced. We've seen this before. Woodard in at tight end. We have Beebe at the wing. Fake to Hessong. Oh, had an initial hold there, and Nieto plunges forward on the right-hand side for a first down. Nice misdirection. We've talked about it in the past. John and I have, about how the Quakers use motion, try to keep the defense guessing. Even if Hessong, he had an early carry on the jet sweep, but even the threat of that holds the defense, holds the safety, makes the linebackers look both ways, and that's good for the running game, and that helps Swan get moving.
Looks like Jack Beebe's wide open right now.
Yeah, he's uncovered, and that's what Moyers is recognizing. They recognize that he's uncovered. They're going to try to get the ball to him. Just a quick spot screen. Nice eyes there by Mr. Mincer to see it, and off goes Beebe to the left, up the sideline, and in for a touchdown. That's Beebe's second score of the game. This one rushing, one receiving. That's from 27 yards out. Nice job, and that's a great job of from the color commentator seeing the uncovered. Aiden saw it as well and was able to communicate it. We saw him kind of gather the line, tell him that, hey, we're changing plays, took the snap. That's what you get out of a senior quarterback. That's a nice job.
Yeah, good job of checking at the line of scrimmage, and that's just simple elementary math. We had two guys and they had one. Nice job of Aiden to find Jack, and Jack took it the rest of the way.
I think that's one of the things. You talk about how football continues to evolve. That's something that was kind of on the line of scrimmage, changing the plays. That wasn't that prominent 20, 25 years ago. But now with the no-huddle offenses, with the fact that teams are lining up, seeing where you are, and keeping the ball away from them, they definitely, they're able to do those things a lot more precision, a lot more fluidity, and it definitely showed there for the Quakers on the 27-yard touchdown pass.
Brent, one thing I've noticed is, as Harris Nichols kicks the football now, ever since that 50-yard game winner, he is drilling the football. And that'll be something interesting to see, because even his extra points would be good from about 40 yards. So that's always that one little thing in a season that gets a kid going, and that's going to be important as we have some important kicks coming up.
There is nothing. There is no substitute for confidence, and Harris has got it after that game winner against Tri-West in week 2. That definitely, that put the Quakers in the win column, 37-35. That was a big win, and he's doing a nice job. The kicking game is so important. If you'll notice, since the game kicked off, every play has been played on the Perry Meridian half of the field. That's good offense, that's good defense, that's good special teams.
Well, that's big in high school, because if it goes in the end zone, they can't run it back. So if you got a kid that can kick it in the end zone, you're not going to let number one get his hands on the ball and get an opportunity to be dynamic.
We prefer Mr. McDonald to watch the ball go into the end zone. So here we go. McDonald and 23 Hunter are deep for Perry. Nichols has it teed up on the right hash mark. Things hold true here. He's going to kick it deep and to the right. There's the kick. Gets good foot into it. Fielded at the half-a-yard line there. And there's Hunter trying the ball, and he's met about the 22-yard line there by the Quakers.
Looks like that was 5, Harrison Herbeck.
Oh, we got the second Herbeck on the announcements today. He's doing a nice job. Harrison is a sophomore defensive back and did a nice job running and covering. Special teams are a chance for those younger players to get their chance. Those are the guys that, maybe Coach Sloan saw on a scout team on practice on a Tuesday and said, man, how can I get this guy in? And like we talked about, maybe there's an injury, maybe a guy's tired, and Herbeck did a nice job there. All right, Warren to Rollman's left, takes the snap. Rollman pulls the ball, works to his left this time, and finds 24. That's Jalen Summers, a two-way player, slips out in the flat. Rollman's with a nice completion there. Definitely looked more comfortable coming to his left than he did to his right earlier in the game. Picks up the first down for Perry.
I think they set that one up last possession. Run. Nice little play fake there to get him out in the flat.
All right, so here we go. We got Summers to Rollman's right as a fullback, H-back kind of player. We got Warren straight behind him in the pistol. He moves to the left. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. He takes the snap. There's the give. And after the successful pass, the run is a little bit better there for Perry. He tries the right-hand side again, and he's tackled there by Mason Scott, he's almost probably got a half a dozen tackles already, and we're still in the first quarter. Looks like the Brownsburg Bulldogs are already ahead against Avon 7-0. That Hendricks County matchup is important to me. That's my brother is a linebacker coach there for Brownsburg, as well as an AP calculus teacher, so always cheer for the Bulldogs. Unless they're playing Plainfield, then it's a split family for sure. All right, so here we go. Roman in the gun, second down. Going the left-hand side with the counter play, and Warren is only able to pick up maybe a yard. It's going to be third down and short. And here comes the big personnel off the Perry Meridian sideline and send the wide receivers to go get a drink of water.
Yeah, we look at those. You talk about scores. We look at big mid-state games. Franklin is at Whiteland. Decatur Central is at Martinsville, and Greenwood is at Mooresville. Mr. Rocky, our athletic director, is going to be sending us scores, and it looks like the first one is Whiteland 7 and Franklin 0.
Quick handoff there to Warren. Man, Mason Scott timed that up pretty quick. He was in the backfield almost before Rollman could give it to Warren, and he tries the right side, and it's going to be close. This may be a bring out the chains kind of moment. Oh, signaling fourth down. I have a pretty good seat. I think it's a first down from where I'm sitting.
Coach just asked to measure.
And he is. Coach Cooper's right. He wants to measure this. I think it's by at least a half a football. But I've been wrong. Well, the official just moved it back, which helps the Quakers. I don't know why he did that. All right, so they're going to go to the sideline to the chains. You know, one of the things that's changed in high school football in the last 20 years is field turf. You know, the fact that teams have field turf, you have great hash marks, you can see every yard. It's so much easier to be able to eyeball whether or not something's a first down. You know, 20, 25 years ago, you know, on a grass field where, you know, the field got painted and it may not, you know, may have cut the grass and it's not as nice, or there's a little bump in the field, it's a little harder to tell. He had more measurements, and
I think he had it before he moved the ball.
I don't want to. If I was the Perry stands, I might be questioning that, but going to bring up a fourth and short. Definitely a place I would go for it. I'm more of a punt first guy, but this is a situation already down 14-0 that you're going to come up and try it. So here comes the Quakers. One of the things to be worried about for Plainfield is not a whole lot of depth to your defense. You know, everybody's up close to the line. If Warren, I'm guessing is going to be the ball carrier. If Warren's able to pop it, you know, it's going to just be those two safeties sitting back there and going to have to try to get him down. So 7 guys up for the Quakers. 2 tight ends, 3 backs, quick handoff. Oh, there's a fumble. Ball is free, and there he is, number 30. That's Anderson, Colin Anderson, the junior, picks up the fumble, and you know that's not a very traditional formation. So maybe it's not something they've worked on this week. Maybe not quite as much practice. You know, taking the handoff there. A new quarterback. And the ball squirts free for the Quakers.
So probably throughout this game, I'm going to bring up things as a fan I'd like you to explain to me. So that is 4th and inches, and they hand it off to a guy in the backfield 4 yards behind them, or it's 4th and inches and the team starts in shotgun. That just doesn't make sense to me as a fan.
Well, you know, their best ball carrier is Warren. There's no question. 27. Moyers looks left. Boom! There's BB on the sideline. Pickup of 14 yards. That's a great throw and catch. Nice job of making time. But, you know, giving to that guy and he was tighter. You know, he wasn't at 7 like he was. You know, he moved up. But you're right. You know, there is some you're going to turn around and hand it, but he's going to get a full head of steam. You know, if your quarterback was your best ball carrier, he'd probably be playing tailback. And, and so that's a little bit what you're thinking there. But, you know, there are some guys, Tom Brady is one I can think of in the NFL, are just great at the quarterback sneak. And so makes perfect sense why they do that. Oh, Nieto tries the right-hand side and creates some good push there. And Quakers almost get 10 yards on that play and going to bring up second really short. Definitely a place here, Michael, you want to look for some play-action pass, a fade to your 6'6" wide receiver who's matched up here with 18, Juwan.
Is that because of distance?
Second short. If it's incompletion, it's going to be third and short. Oh, there's your play fake. He's out in the flat. Looks there. Quick pass to Woodard. Woodard picks up a block from Hessong. He tries the left-hand side, and he swung out of bounds right in front of Principal Mel Seifert. Athletic Director Tori Rodkey, and right there trying to cheer Woodard into the end zone. Blake's a great young man and works really hard, and that's a great catch and run, and best yards after catch we've seen from him this season.
Yeah, that type of play, that misdirection seems to always work, where we bring the whole line one way and slip somebody out the backside. This time it was Blake Woodard, and did a nice job with running after the catch.
Kid getting sick on the field there. Heat is catching up to all of us here. So going to take a timeout as they go here to the sideline. You know, one thing I will talk about too there is, Michael, that Blake was lined up in the backfield, I think offset to the right. So the man who was responsible for him, perhaps, was on the left-hand side of the defense and had to navigate their way out into the left flat. And so he had a long way to go, and that definitely added to why Blake was open. Got a nice block from Hessong down the field, and that got us an extra 5 or 10 yards.
Another mid-state score update, Mooresville 14, Greenwood 0.
So, like we said, next week the Quakers will travel to Greenwood. They'll be on the road again. They won't be home again until the 25th of September for a modified homecoming against Decatur Central. Perry Meridian next week will travel to Whiteland, and then they'll be home again on the 25th. Versus Greenwood. They'll be back here in their home solid uniforms to take on the Woodmen. So obviously a lot of things are different with the pandemic that we're living in, and here's one that we're seeing right now. There's going to be some field cleaning that is going to take place here after the young man got sick on the field, and makes sense. They want to make sure everything is safe, and they're going to go spray some things down out. That's definitely a change. We're talking about things that are different in football and things that have changed. My first year coaching football was in 2002, and talking about film. When football games used to be on a VHS tape, and you and I are the same age, and we remember watching those video cassettes. But as a football coach, that meant you had to travel, and you met up with another coach. You traded VHS cassettes that you had to have first made a copy of. And that was a job all in itself, was getting enough copies of the VHS tape. And you travel, and then a VHS tape had to be fast forward and rewound and all those things. And a couple years later, we got to the DVD where you could take the VHS tape on Friday night and burn it onto a DVD, but you still had to do that exchange. I remember how life changed when Huddle came around. Huddle is the new software. It's been around now probably for 10 plus years. And Huddle is a software program that allows a team to record the game, send it up into the cloud, and then exchange that through the internet. And nobody has to drive anywhere on a Saturday morning. Everything is already one play at a time. And football changed one step farther, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when Huddle could be used during the game. We'll talk about that when we get another break. All right, so here's the Quakers' first and goal on the 6-yard line. Ball's on the left hash. Two receivers to the right, Woodard and Nieto in the backfield. Nieto goes straight ahead, right behind Woodard, in for the touchdown. That right-hand side of the Quaker line did a nice job of getting pushed. We got a late flag there, some extracurriculars between one of the offensive and defensive lines there getting after it. We'll see what the penalty means.
Really nice job. I think Adam Moyer's coming in, and Dylan Ponder was on the ground. I think one of the Perry kids was over him, probably talking some trash, which I think drew the flag. So nice job to get Ponder out of there.
We'll see how it plays here. We'll see what the signal is from the referee, the white hat. He said dead ball, penalty on Perry Meridian. So now is the opportunity. The Quakers have to decide. I think Coach Woodard will take this on the kick. So they could take it now and go half the distance and gain 1.5 yards. If they were a 2-point conversion kind of situation, that would make sense. But definitely makes more sense to wait and do it on the extra point where it'll be a 15-yard change. Coach Sloan has some options here, and I think if I'm Coach Sloan, Coach Woodard, if you're trying to look for a big play on special teams, kind of that might be an opportunity coming off that penalty. So here you go, Nichols. Sets to kick, works, takes the snap, puts it down. Nichols kicks through it. You're right, he's really putting a good foot on the ball and hit the flagpole there right down the middle. All right, so with 1.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter here, the Quakers lead 21-0 behind 2 touchdowns from Jack Beebe and a touchdown from Juan Nieto. Quakers are doing a nice job moving the ball. They've kept Perry backed up both on offense and defense, and just I'll be honest, I don't think Coach Woodard could have scripted how this game could have gone any better for him.
No, I mean, you prep all week as a coach and you just hope your team comes out and carries over what you do in drills. And tonight, I think our offensive line is doing a great job of not only giving Aiden Moyers time to throw the football, and he's been very accurate, but also blowing them off the line. And Juan Nieto's had some good runs. That last one for the touchdown.
All right, so this is what we talked about. Had the 15-yard penalty, unsportsmanlike on the touchdown. So Coach Woodard decided to take it here on the kickoff. So instead of teeing it up on his own 40, Nichols moves it forward 15. He's going to be on the Perry 45. Ball has to travel 10 yards so you can recover it. So Nichols got some options. The one that I think Coach Sloan would like the best if he's going to try something tricky is to pop the ball up, kind of hit it into one of the holes out there. There's not a ton of space for one of those kicks. He may just decide to kick it out of the end zone and go play defense.
I bet we drive it. I mean, we've been really good the last couple of years of that little pop-up kick you're talking about, but this shortened field is probably going to be a tougher task for that.
The upside to that is if you do try it and they get it, they're still probably only going to have it on the 25. And Nichols, I think, is going to try to kick it through the uprights almost. He did a nice job, kicked it out of the back of the end zone, and Perry will take over 1st and 10 on their 20. Nice job by Quaker special teams, and defense is playing so well. Why mess around with taking a risk and doing something out of the ordinary?
Yeah, I think this is an important possession for both teams. Perry really needs to answer here to make it a game, and Plainfield has to handle success. When you get teams down 21-0, you got to keep going and don't let them come back in the game. So big possession here.
I can't agree more. I think those are the things that those are going to show you a seasoned team. How do they respond to adversity, and how do they respond to success? That's true in every sport, and we'll hopefully see the Quakers respond positively right here. All right, that's Warren to the left. We'll go with McDonald in motion from right to left. Quarterback rolls left, looks out in the flat. There's McDonald. He's met right away by the Quakers. That's 27, Colin Hoy. Colin rotates in at the corner position, did a nice job there. The junior, 5'8", 165 pounds. Made a nice tackle and right into the short field there. I've been really impressed by both corners, both he and Anderson, who had the fumble recovery on the last possession, just in terms of how physical they are and doing a nice job of making tackles in the flat.
Yeah, that play, he came off his initial read and made the tackle coming off his receiver. Read the play well.
Coach Mucos, Coach Mucos, our cornerbacks coach, does a nice job with those guys, really preaches that physicality and really helps our defense to have that kind of physicality at the edge there. All right, so Warren goes straight ahead, picks up a couple yards there. It's going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and 9. This is right where Coach Stewart wants it to be 3rd and long. For this offense, wants it to be on the left hash. Going to be harder for Rollman to work to his right.
Give 66 Chris Strange a credit on that last play. Got in there and filled the void and got the tackle.
Big sophomore is had to come in and play because of injury last week and has done a nice job. And here comes Rollman sprinting to his right. Oh, Anderson knew I think he may have known the route better than McDonald did and was right underneath it. And, I think if Rollman would have been more accurate, probably would have hit Anderson between the 3 and the 0. But goes out of bounds and probably wisely so and brings up 4th down.
Yeah, it seems like Coach Stew's scouting report has been on point. It seems like our guys are locked in and really in well-positioned spots for our defense.
I couldn't agree more. They did a nice job, and definitely, some of the things that I'm seeing out of Perry are different than what I saw on film as I kind of watched a little bit during the week, and it's kind of fun to get to do that again. And there's the kick. Fair caught there by 3. That's Herbeck. Ball's going to be on the 45 when the Quakers come out. We're going to flip ends, though, because we're going to go to the second quarter. We'll go to a commercial here, and we'll be back to start the second quarter.
Never miss a big game by downloading the IHSAA TV app for free on any device. For your iPhone or Apple TV, check the App Store. On your Android or Android TV device, load up the Google Play Store. Have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick? We have the app for you. Check us out on Facebook Live, Twitter, or YouTube Live by searching for IHSAA TV. Or as always, click to IHSAATV.org for quick and easy access to your favorite IHSAA live and archived events.
right, Quakers are going to take over here to start the second quarter. Ball is going to be on the right hash mark. We're in 20 personnel, so we got two running backs, no tight ends.
So we call him Blake Woodard a running back right now?
Yeah, he's a super back.
Super back.
That's his position. At least that's how they list him in the program. I'll go with it. Motion left to right. He's a fullback, but I'm old school. There's play action pass. Has Vanderbush in the middle of the field. Vanderbush splitting the safeties, trying to cut back, stays alive. Oh, ball comes loose. Nice job by Kale staying on it. That's a big gain. Ball goes from the 45 all the way down to the 20. That'll be a 35-yard gain and a big play for the Quakers. So the Quakers are going to hurry up here. Oh, we had a penalty. Hang on a second. That's in the position of perhaps a sideline warning. I see the official signaling that. So in high school football and in football in general, the game has changed again with field turf, allowing the field to be painted really specifically every place. Coaches are allowed, a certain number of coaches, typically your head coach is allowed in the white paint, on the thick white paint on the sideline, that part of the sideline. No one else should be in that area, and in fact, when the play runs, there shouldn't be anybody at all.
I've actually applied for that job. I want to be the get-back guy.
Get-back coach, that's an important job. Here comes Hessong in motion. Vanderbush takes the snap, fakes the ball, goes straight ahead. Big gain of about 6 or 7 yards there. Nice job by the guys up front, creating a nice lane for Kale. So what probably happened on the play before on the warning, sideline warning, because of the long play, the side judge had to run down the sideline. And inevitably, when he does that, he ran into somebody. Somebody was in the way, and that's how they knew somebody was in the way, and that's brought the penalty flag. So Vanderbush in the shotgun again. Here comes Hessong. Snap, fake to Hessong. There goes Vanderbush. Again up the middle, looks for the cutback. It's not there and picks up a couple yards, going to bring up 3rd and 2. Look to the sideline here, see will the Quakers go with their jumbo personnel. No, it looks like they're going to stay with the guys they've got on the field.
The difference with this Wildcat package is that I know Kale can throw the ball.
Yep.
So he adds that dimension to the play calling.
Kale had a lot of snaps at quarterback last year. Is a dynamic athlete both on the basketball court and the football field. Here comes Hessong in motion. Fake. There goes Vanderbush. Nice cut in the hole. Runs through the first tackle and definitely picks up the first down there. Gain of about 8.
You know, one thing is Kale, as you watch him run, you think he's running slow, but he's going somewhere. He's a very fluid kid, and so his strides are so long that it looks like he's not running really fast, but he's covering lots of ground.
He's a loper. He covers a lot of ground. He reminds me of some of those those Eric Dickerson type tailbacks. Those guys that people that are your my age understand that, but the guy who may not take 1,000 steps to get from A to B, but those steps are very meaningful. Oh, we got a quick pass out there to Hessong. Tries the right-hand side on the sweep, and he goes in for a touchdown. That'll get scored as a touchdown pass from 15 Vanderbush to Hessong there. That's a high completion percentage. He's 1 for 1 on the day, and a big gain in for the touchdown. So that'll bring Nichols back in from the sidelines. Works will take a knee there at the 10-yard line. Holder is always going to be 7 yards back from the center. I had the wrong number on the short snapper. I'll see if I can get that for you here. It's not who I thought it was.
Is it 58 Nichols Baker?
I think it's Nolan Gray. 58 is right. That's Nolan Gray. Nolan Gray, junior offense and defensive lineman. Nolan did a nice job on the snap. Hold by Works. Nichols' kick was up and good. And now with 10 minutes to go, Quakers are up 28-0. Doing a nice job. And sometimes you don't know how your team's going to react. Perry has struggled here. They started the year 0-3. They're in the middle of a little bit of a losing streak, and the Quakers, you want them to come out and answer that, coming out of that loss to Mooresville, and coming out and hitting on all cylinders, and really not trying to feel out Perry, but just playing to the best of their ability. And we've seen that on all 3 phases of the game so far.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. I really want to take a minute here, Brent, to give a shout out to Vicki Westfall, who I know is watching the game at home, and she does a bunch for us here at the office at Plainfield High School. So, Vicki, we appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy the game.
She's one of our executives, one of our assistants there in the front office, and man, she does great work and a great part of our team. We were lucky enough to add her a couple years ago, and she makes both your and my life a whole lot easier as assistant principals. And glad that she's watching at home. Maybe she's sitting out by the fire table or getting to enjoy this on the stream. All right, so Nichols is going to tee this kick up here on the right hash mark. it's kind of fun to think about those people get to watch this game at home. And I know I've been watching a little bit on Twitter. I know we've got former Quakers who are watching this game, some guys that I played with. I've seen on Twitter Wayne Walker is a coach over in Illinois. I've seen him out there. Looks like he might be watching us occasionally. I don't know where Illinois is with high school football, if he's trying to fill that football need like some people are. But it's kind of cool to think about other people who maybe can't get to a Plainfield game get to still watch it. So that's really fun. All right, that was a deep kickoff again, but they're able to bring it out just a little bit, and Perry will come in to start the game here. One of the things, just we'll get to cover a lot of bases here tonight of things maybe you don't know, but we do have ball boys. Those are important roles. You got a coach's son like I was, or my brother, or you get coaches, get young kids in your program down there who are making sure the best footballs are getting in. If they get sweated on or it's rainy, you get a dry football in on those critical downs. They're doing a great job out there tonight. All right, there goes Warren trying the middle of the Quaker defensive line behind his offensive teammates. And
maybe one of your linebackers got a tackle in the end zone. It looks like a score update. Brownsburg is up 9-7 over Avon.
Good, that's good to see. I'm sure somebody down there. Don't want to speculate who it is until we know for sure, but one of the Quakers is shaking up on the play. All right, so we probably are gonna go to a quick commercial here. We'll go to a quick commercial and then we'll come back after the injury. Thanks for paying attention here to Plainfield versus Perry Meridian.
A licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
That water, you're gonna want to look for weeds, sunken structures, down trees, stuff like that. And let that breeze tell you where you want to go. Windy days like this, those bait fish will come swimming closer to shore. They'll bring the big boys with them, those bass and those pike. Now, they like cooler temperatures, so you ain't likely to have much luck.
You're good at giving fishing advice. We're good at your insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
They've always been with live bait.
All right, we're back here after 6. Jack Beebe had to be helped to the sidelines. The Quakers are going to be on defense here, 2nd and 10. Jack Burkhart checks in, the senior linebacker, number 4. Be the outside backer to the Quakers right here. Pull the guard. Burkhart chases him from behind, looks deep. A little bit early there. Quakers may have got away with one. Deep pass down the sideline there to 16. I don't think the fans liked it. Probably could have heard that one. Seth Bradbury, that's a junior, 6'3", 170-pound target there, but ball goes a little bit high. Burkhart just checked in off the sideline, fresh legs, chasing Rollman down from behind. Again, making the quarterback sprint to his offhand. That's hard, and Quakers did a nice job defensively.
Yeah, it has to be a tough pass thrown against your body there. Nice pressure by Jack, and also Hunter, good position. Probably was a little bit early, but didn't call it, so we'll take it.
We'll take anyone we can get. One of the secrets to that, Michael, is that the quarterback definitely has to get downhill when you're throwing your opposite arm there. Play fake, working to his left, slips out 24, and seen that play already once. 24 is Jalen Summers. The senior goes out in the left flat, definitely having more success to the offense's left than to the right. It's going to bring up 4th and short here, 4th and maybe a yard. Coach Cooper's got a tough decision here to make. He's going to think about it. He's going to go big sub, lots of subs coming in.
Looks like they're going to punt it, but
Yeah.
this is one where they'll probably play defense.
McDonald is going to come in. He's a left-footed punter, I believe, and that'll mean he's kind of a little bit of a rugby-style guy into the boundary towards the Quakers bench. We'll see if he decides to take it down. I'll say this, Quakers have had a lot of pressure so far. Oh, he's taken off to the right. He's quick. There's Anderson. You got some veteran defenders there. That's a great job. You should think about a career career as a football coach there, Coach Menser. You were right on the money, saw the fake coming.
Yeah, I think our coaching staff did too, because did a nice job of staying in their lanes and not overrunning things there.
Yep, they did a nice job, and that helps. That might have been the safe punt team. I think Coach Sloan left the defense out there, and Coach Stewart's guys they're trained on that defensive stuff. They knew what to do when the guy took off running. They did a nice job. All right, Moyers is in at quarterback here. Looks like 85. That's it should be Smith there for the Quakers. Caden Smith is the other receiver now, back in for Beebe. There goes Nieto. Tries the right-hand side, picks up about 14 yards, and goes in. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Quakers down 7 or 8 yard line there. Clock's still ticking at 9 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Nice job by one there, keeping his feet moving. 44, Isaiah Harwell, had him in the backfield, but kept those feet driving and was able to get lots more yards.
I continue to like Nieto's burst. Does a nice job once he gets the ball and he sees the hole, really getting after it. Back shoulder fade to Vanderbush. Touchdown, Quakers.
I think you talk about things that have changed in football. That pass right there over the last however many years has just become a staple of people's offense.
Well, everybody likes when you get down in the end zone area, hey, let's throw a fade. Let's throw the ball up into the corner of the end zone. Let's use our big, tall, athletic kid like Vanderbush to go get it and take it away from the defense. I think historically you'll see that that's a really low percentage pass. It's a hard one to complete. While on the other hand, that back shoulder fade is a very direct throw. It's a thrown to the back hip of the receiver. He's able to open up and catch it. And Quakers are already up 35-0 there, and nice job answering there with a good throw and catch from Moyers to Vanderbush. All right, so with 8:44 to go, the Quakers will come out again. Kickoff team getting a lot of work here. The team, if you as a special team, you want your PAT and your kickoff team to get a lot of work. Your punt team, those guys can sit on the bench because that usually means you're not getting things done offensively. But Quakers are 5 for 5 offensive drives so far and 5 touchdowns, and that's exactly how Coach Moyers and that offensive staff want to be.
Well, you can tell the breeze that is blowing out there on the field, because first quarter his kickoffs were going into the end zone, if not right at the goal line. That last one he had was about the 7-yard line, so we'll see how much foot he gets into this kick.
Definitely going to try to pin it deep there. It looked like I saw the senior quarterback Hart warming up on the sideline. I don't know if we'll get him this possession or not, but he definitely looked like he was warming up and making sure, seeing if he was ready. And we'll see if we see a change at quarterback for the Falcons here when they get the ball back. All right, so Coach Cooper's team here is looking for a big play. I think that's the thing. Both teams are they're a net 0 turnover margin now after tonight's game. Now Perry is -1 for the season. Tonight was their 7th giveaway. They have 6 takeaways on defense. They've got 5 fumble recoveries and an interception. Quakers now have 2 defensive takeaways and 1 offensive giveaway, so they are going to be +1 on the season in the turnover margin. All right, shorter kick. There comes 23, finds a gap. He gets slung around back there and goes down for, gets out to about just past the 20, so better than a touchback for Perry. They'll bring in the ball from the Perry sideline, and the Quakers will be back out on defense. All right, so, one of the things I mentioned earlier was Coach Cooper. Coach Brett Cooper is the head football coach here at Perry Meridian, again, in his first season, trying to get the culture of the program. They're trying to overcome some, they've had some lean years. That makes it a little bit harder to kind of get things going the way you want them to, and still have Rollman in here at quarterback. But Coach Cooper is a good coach. He's done a nice job at Indian Creek, did a nice job as an assistant at Greenwood, and I'm sure he'll keep getting these guys better. All right, there's Warren. I like how they're competing. Here's Warren, a senior running back, still pushing forward, still churning forward. Quakers are trying to hold him up. And then there we are. There is a mercy rule in high school football that'll go into effect if we're up by more than 35 as we start the second half. That'll be a running clock, so the clock will continue to run regardless of what happens if we're up by 35 in the second half. And that will mean for a speedier second half. And, get us home for some NBA games, maybe a little quicker, and go from there. All right, so Warren tries the left-hand side, gets held up there, and
yeah, timing was messed up on that play as the quarterback fumbled the football, didn't get a clean handoff, and the Quakers were able to take advantage of it.
That's, offenses are timing machines, and when things are off, sometimes they're good, sometimes the defense isn't on time either, but on that case, definitely got in the way of success. So Quakers bring in Ethan Monday off the sideline. He's at the outside linebacker spot on the right. Got a timeout. We're going to go to a timeout here, 3rd and short, and we'll go to a quick commercial, and we'll be right back for this 3rd down play.
13,000 feet has a way of testing a man's soul. After all, we were never meant to take on such an endeavor. That long drop is what separates human from superhuman. And here we are, right here, right now.
You're good at motivation, we're good at your insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
All right, so we're back here at Falcon Stadium, Ray Skillman Family Field. The Perry Meridian Falcons come out here, 3rd down and 4, 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the second quarter. The Quaker defense has been stingy tonight. The Coach Stewart's team, Coach Stewart's crew has not let up a whole lot. Coach Stewart won a long line of great defensive coordinators at Plainfield, including Coach Woodard. He was a defensive coordinator before he was the head coach, and the Quakers defense known to be stingy, doing a great job tonight for sure. Oh, here's McDonald, direct snap, makes the guy miss in the hole. There's Anderson with a good tap. I thought for sure that was going to be a first down, Michael. He looked like he was off and running. I
think they got a horse collar here.
Oh, really? I think in order for it to be a horse collar, it really has to bring him down by the back of the jersey. It doesn't mean that's not what they're going to call, but that could very well be what it was. His hand was definitely in the helmet. It got a personal foul targeting, I think, is the signal I'm seeing from the white hat here. That's going to be a big penalty. Or maybe horse collar. I don't know. He kind of did it just to Coach Cooper. Wish he'd have shown it to all of us. We might have known what the play was or what the penalty was. But here we go. So we've got 1st and 10 here off the penalty. The Quaker defense held on the 3rd down, but the penalty does bring up a 1st down, and Perry's threatening to cross midfield for the first time tonight. McDonald is in at quarterback again, gives the ball. 27, that's Aiden Warren. He tries the right side. I think McDonald is going to be stingy on the gives. He definitely looked like he wanted to pull it out and see what could happen next, and when you have an athlete back there, a guy who's a ball carrier, he's going to definitely want to do that.
Nice job by Caden Vanderbush, number 1 there for the Quakers. Really broke down on that tackle, wrapped him up for a nice play.
I see a freshman safety come up, making tackles, for 2 or 3 yard gains. That's what Coach Stewart wants to see. Coach Stewart coaches the safeties, was the defensive back at Plainfield and also at Hanover College. Here comes McDonald. He's got a puller, and Warren leading the way, and there's Anderson and Vanderbush, 2 run fillers there, and they're right there at the point of attack to make the tackle. Only a gain of 1 for Reggie McDonald, and brings up 3rd and 6 for Perry. McDonald definitely gives you a little different speed as a runner, but is going to be, he's obviously going to be challenged probably throwing the ball.
Yeah, containment I think was the key to our defense with him, is just keep him inside the boundaries and let everybody come team tackle.
Absolutely, getting lots of guys to the ball. We talk as I've heard. Handoff there to Warren. He tries the right hand side. Very athletic play. Jumps over Vanderbush with a little pizzazz with the forward roll and
tumbling class.
Remember that from Mrs. Bradshaw's PE class back in 1994 at Plainfield High School, and that was a nice move there by Warren to avoid Vanderbush and pick up a 1st down. All right, here comes Perry Meridian. They're in the gun again. McDonald gives to Warren. Straight ahead, Haston meets him in the hole. It's going to be a short gain, maybe a yard, and Quakers are right there. They've been just really good inside the box, inside that tackle box. It does look like in Hendricks County action, the Brownsburg Bulldogs in the Rotary Bell game have taken a 16-7 lead now on the Avon Orioles. That's been all week for those two teams. They've been Rotary Bell, they've been Brownsburg and Avon in all the different sports, and good to see that rivalry in Hendricks County. Oh, a low snap. McDonald's pulls it up, follows his blockers. There's Vanderbush and makes the tackle. Vanderbush steps up. Lucas comes from behind, as does McDonald, and they're able to keep it to a short gain.
Yeah, nice bounce pass by the center to the quarterback on that play, but that snap's been an issue all night. There's been a couple times where they fumbled the ball when they had their regular quarterback in, but that's something that the Quakers might get an opportunity with a turnover here as we continue this game.
All right, so here we go. Perry is going to have the ball here, 3rd and 7. Turn the lights on up here in the press box. I can see now. That's good. I can be able to read some names a little better. Here comes Warren, play fake. Rollman pulls it, works to his left. He's got 24 out there in the flat. That's been their best play. Unfortunately, we got a flag, and he's going to call an ineligible receiver downfield. I can guarantee you that. Looked like had at least one lineman out in front, down more than 3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. They were in front of him when Summers caught it out in the flat there. Ineligible receiver downfield. That's going to be a penalty there, and it's going to bring back a good gain by Summers, who's really making a lot of hay in that flat there for Perry.
Yeah, that's a tough penalty on a lineman. They're trying to make a hustle play, get down the field, block for their receiver, and just unfortunately just a little too early before the ball got there.
It's probably has a lot to do with how the ball came out. Just took a little bit longer to develop. The linemen have kind of a clock in their head, and when they sense that that has happened, that part of the play is over, it's time to start getting downfield, and helping the play continue. All right, looks like Summers is going to check out. In comes Ronan Hammond, the sophomore, 6'1", 195 pounds, checks in at the super back position there for Perry. Two receivers to the right. Rollman in the shotgun. He has a Warren in the backfield with him. Off to the right. Here we go. Sprints to his right. Oh, he had a penalty there. Somebody looks like maybe they were moving early. Before the snap. Oh, no, had a timeout. Pardon me. Before the snap, had a timeout. I don't know if it was the coach or a player there. We had a quick timeout. So 3rd down and 11 here when we come. I think we'll just stay here. We had a great question. We got a great crew of high school students who are putting on this broadcast for you, and they just do a great job on the sound and on the video and making it all to go together. And when we were at the quarter break, Ryan here sitting behind us brought up the question, tell me about these hash marks. Why are they there? And that's a good question. The hash marks really divide the field into thirds. It is the next play has always begun where the last play ended, where the tackle was made. But if a play comes outside the hash marks, the ball goes back to the hash mark. That's the widest the next play can start. And the reason for that is so that you don't create too much of a wide side of the field where that speed advantage could take an effect. And so by having the hashes evenly distributed there, really, the offense and the defense know what they're working from on every play in terms of spacing. And, in the college game and the NFL game, those hash marks tighten up, and that's to make the field difference that much smaller so that it's very similar from play to play. High school football, right hash, left hash makes a big difference here. But in the college game, it's an NFL game for sure. It's definitely different. McDonald takes the bounce pass, tries to the right. Baker is in there quickly. Burkhart is quick on the backside. Man, great hustle by the senior, number 4, chasing him down from behind. Runs him out of bounds here for a loss of a yard or two. Man, junior Nick Baker was in there quick, and then Burkhart chased him down from behind.
When those hash marks come to play at the end of the game, because you run certain plays if your kicker's better kicking from the left hash or the right hash, correct?
Yeah, and for some of the farther kicks, kickers actually prefer it on a hash versus in the middle because their kick naturally hooks or naturally kind of fades in there. And Just another component of football, and a lot of things you have to take into account. And as an offensive coordinator at the end of the game, man, you're trying to get a touchdown or move it. You're not thinking about that next piece of it. All right, McDonald with the punt. It's going to be a short one. It's going to check back and going to get down there at the 28-yard line. I'll be interested to see here who comes out for the Quakers. Looks like the starting crew here with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the half. Probably going to finish the half up. An interesting fact, doing a little bit of research here, the one sectional title in Perry Meridian high school history is in 1986. Head football coach then was Steve Perica. Two fun facts there, Mr. Menser. First of all, Steve Perica is the great uncle of Nick Perica, assistant coach here at Plainfield High School, coaches the quarterbacks. And also a connecting factor for us is Coach Perica taking this job at Perry Meridian made an opening at Chittard High School where a young assistant coach on his staff, Chuck Schwannekamp, my dad, was able to step in and take over the reins. And Dad was lucky enough to go undefeated his first season as a young head coach, and 28 years old, was able to win a state title at Chittard and actually won back-to-back state titles after Coach Perica kind of was his mentor as a young coach and hired him out of Butler. And Coach Perica came down here and got things going at Perry and helped him win a sectional title in '86, and that's Perry's one sectional title. Plainfield also only has one sectional title back in 2000 when my dad was the head coach, and they took in that year the Quakers went all the way to the state finals, losing to a very good East Noble team, and were runners up in 2000.
Two things that come to mind when you talk about that is people always say how small the world is and the connections that people have with different people. So you definitely have that with the Perica family, as well as being ready for your opportunity. And your dad is just like that. We know how prepared he always is, and he took advantage of that opportunity and obviously had a great career, and the rest is history.
There we go. Number 10, quick little guy there, Grant Starnes, the senior running back. Definitely a change of pace from Nieto. Goes straight ahead and picks up a gain, enough for a first down, and the clock continues to run.
And you talk about change of pace. He had some success last week against Mooresville, I think, because of that. He's hard to find probably coming out of that hole.
Absolutely.
Teams are looking for 42-1 Nieto, and it's a little different look when number 10 comes through that hole.
Absolutely. Both Coach Perica and my dad are both members of the Indiana Football Hall of Fame, two great careers. Steve went on after being at Perry to be a longtime assistant for Coach Dullahan at Ben Davis High School, was a science department chair, a really good teacher, and a great offensive and defensive line coach. And Coach Perica and I actually coached together. I was an assistant on that staff as well, and Steve's a great guy and a great mentor for both my dad as a young coach and for me as a young coach. That's kind of a fun connection as well. So the Quakers are going to have it here 2nd and 8. They're going to go with 20 personnel as Woodard checks back in. It's going to be an unbalanced formation. You see Woodard is on the ball as a tight end, but so is Vanderbush to the top. That's going to allow the wide receiver here, Hessong, to go in motion even though he didn't. You have a penalty flag there right where one of the Perry guys was on the field there for, and looks like a hold was the initial signal by the referee. So clock ticks under 2 minutes. We're going to have a quick timeout here as we sort things out. It's going to go from third and short to going to be second and fairly long here. Have Caden Smith here at receiver, going to be down here to the left by himself. Vanderbush and Hessong to the right. Springs now joins. Springs joins Smith here to the left, so we're 2 by 2 and kind of an open spread formation. Perry staying with their 3-5 defensive set. Outside linebackers are head up on the inside receivers there, taking them away, trying to take away that bubble screen.
Be interesting to what we do here with a minute 50 left in the half, up 35. Looks like we're going to attack downfield.
Had a shot there. Hessong cleared the outside linebacker. So one of the things about playing a 3-5 or a 4-4 defense when you have an 8-man box means you can only play with one high safety. And anybody who's been around football for very long knows that when you have one high safety, 4 verticals, 4 guys running up the numbers, the hash mark, the numbers, those 4 landmarks, man, that's a good football play. And The outside linebacker 5 for Perry did a nice job of really challenging Hessong up the hash mark and making that a hard throw. Here goes Nieto in motion left, trying to outflank him, working a fake outside screen, goes back inside. Oh, looking for Hessong on the middle screen, and Isaiah Harwell, the senior defensive lineman, 44, sniffed it out, got his big hands up and knocked it down. That was a nice play.
Yeah, really nice play by Harwell, because if he doesn't make that play, Hessong has a lot of running room. So read the screen nicely and got his hands up, and unfortunately we didn't get it over the top of those mitts.
Well, it looks like got a score there from Whiteland. Whiteland is ahead at versus Franklin, 24-14. That game is being played at Whiteland. That's a home game for Coach Fisher and the crew down there. So that's 24-14. All right, Quakers' first punt of the night. Here comes Nichols. Traditional punt formation. Snap to Nichols. Nice kick. Goes off the side of his foot there to the right. Not quite as far as we hoped for. A lot of extracurriculars here. Not a smart play by the Quakers. And we're going to see a penalty flag. Getting a little chippy out there, and that'll happen in a game like this, 35-0. However, the Quakers have a minute and a half, 90 seconds or so left, and Perry's going to have the ball in a really, really good field position. Have a dead ball, personal foul on the Quakers. A one-sided penalty there is going to move the ball 15 yards. Going to go from the 44 all the way down to the 29, I think, if I've got my spot right.
You just don't want to give them any momentum. I mean, the Quakers have dominated this half of football, and you just don't want a silly mistake like that with a minute 32 left to give them really good field advantage and a chance to score going into halftime.
I would say probably one of the best halves of football I've seen from the Quakers in 4 or 5 years, and you don't want it to be soured by that play or by a series of plays here. So looks like Coach Cooper has decided he's going to keep rolling with McDonald at quarterback. The wide receiver, their best playmaker, is back there in the shotgun. Tied in a wing. McDonald goes right, finds a crease, splits it, and he looks like, tackled from behind there by 35 for the Quakers. 35 is Caden Boer. That's a senior, as well as Colin Anderson, wrong Anderson, brother, makes the tackle there from behind. So McDonald's got him rolling here inside the 10-yard line. Clock is running, 1 minute, 20 seconds to go. Ball's on the right hash. McDonald's looks, takes the snap, goes right again, follows his running back, follows his lineman and cuts it back. And he is going to be down in for a touchdown. Big play by McDonald. He's been Mr. Everything for Perry tonight, running the ball on offense, catching the ball, punting, playing defense. He's going to definitely sleep good tonight. Probably need a cheeseburger on the way home as well.
Yeah, really good second effort. Got hit about the 3-yard line, spun off that, reached the ball across the end zone for a nice gain and a touchdown. He has been their offense, their punters, their defense. He's been Mr. Everything for me. You are 100% correct.
All right, Nestor Gomez, 99, checks in, the senior. He's a left-footed kicker. Don't adjust your TV at home. He's coming from the other side. Good pressure from the Quakers up the middle, but he's able to split the uprights. And so with a minute 8 left to go in the half, it's going to be the home Falcons 7 and the visiting Quakers 35. We talked about that running clock rule that would happen at the half. Anytime in the second half it's up, the Quakers go up 35 or either team goes up 35, that would go into effect. Just has to happen in the second half. So for now, unless the Quakers have a quick 1 minute, 68-second drive here, we'll wait to see that in the second half. All right, so the Quakers, a lot of starters out here on special teams. Coach Sloan's crew has got several, got a mix. Got some starters out there, got some older guys, got some younger guys. A couple names I got to double check on the roster to make sure I know who's who. But you got some of the starters back there with Vanderbush, and looks like Starnes is the other deep receiver, the backup tailback as well. All right, looks like Nestor Gomez is set to tee the ball up again from the right hash. got a little momentum. I wonder if they'll try something, try a quick kick or, onside, something tricky here maybe to keep that momentum going. We know that the Quakers are going to get the ball to start the second half, so that's an important piece here too. If they're able to score, that's going to really turn the game on its ear. Ball is kicked deep here. Starnes is going to chase after it. It's going to go in for a touchback, and so Quakers will start on the 20-yard line.
You talk about Brownsburg and Avon all week. We've been playing Perry Meridian all week in sports, and obviously a super competitive volleyball game with the Quakers coming out top. Congratulations to Coach Pax on that win. And then last night, boys soccer with a really solid 2-0 win over a very good Perry Meridian team. So we've had a week with the Perry Meridian Falcons, and overall been very successful with that as well. I know the girls soccer team, I think, won 7-0 as well.
I'll be honest, the athletic directors here in the Mid-State Conference have done a really nice job kind of changing that up and really making, these middle weeks of the seasons, week 3 through 9 or 3 until the other sports are going into sectional, these kind of battle weeks, where you see everybody, next week Quakers will see Greenwood all week long, and that'll be fun for, kind of singularly united in that competition. And, Quakers are having a great fall. The Ato is a little slow to get up there. Quakers are having a great fall. The girls are ranked in girls soccer. The volleyball team is having a great year. The boys soccer team, Colton Crouch can't, if he has another shutout, he's not letting anybody get a sniff near the goal, and they're playing great as well. And they won a huge matchup, like you said, against Perry, and just been really impressed with all of our student athletes. And there's a lot of challenges right now. Everybody's having to overcome a lot of things, and they're doing a nice job in the classroom and on the field. So Quakers are playing quickly here. Got a little 1-minute drill maybe, see what they can do. Quick pass to Hessong on the screen. Moyers looks both ways, takes a snap. Oh, short snap and the fumble.
I wonder if Perry will call a timeout here.
They have not yet. All right, so now that they're looking at the clocks, they do not have to run a play here. So Coach Woodard's going to make it look like he's going to run an offensive play. Try to bait him into taking a timeout or make him take a timeout because he doesn't want to snap it. A lot of bad things can happen on a punt.
Well, it's kind of interesting they didn't use a timeout there with a dynamic player with McDonald. Give him a chance to get a hand on the ball going into halftime.
Try to go after and block it, those kind of things. Yeah, definitely lots of schools of thought there, and Coach Cooper probably felt like, he wanted to get to halftime with the momentum he had and not rough the kick or do something. Yeah. All right, so we'll get going to go to halftime here. Looks like maybe some senior night for the Perry Meridian Band, and we'll be back in a little bit for the second half.
A licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Welcome back, fans. We got a couple minutes here left in the halftime, and walking by the press box was cross-country coach Joe Hoffman, and just thought we'd have a quick second to sit down with our cross-country coach and kind of get a snapshot of how the season's going so far for our runners.
We are off and running. Had a couple meets under our belt so far. We ran at the Brownsburg Invite last weekend. Was our second varsity race of the year outside of the county meet, and kids are running well. Things are starting to come together here, and we're getting down towards what we call the championship season, the conference meet and the state tournament.
Joe, any runners of note, any young runners maybe that you didn't expect, or anybody really stepping up and having a good season so far?
We have two freshmen that have been significant varsity contributors this season. Caitlin Klasinski on the ladies' side and Addison Newen on the men's side. Both have been running about our fourth or fifth runner for us, and we're looking forward to them competing, showing up big for us in the conference meet and the sectional.
Well, I had the county champ, right?
And we
on
did
the girls'
have the
side.
Addison Dockery was the county champion. Girls and boys, both team county champions. And Caden McClure, a senior on the fellow side, was the runner-up in the county.
Always great to be the champion of Henderson County. It means you're better than everybody else in all of the county. So to have not only the top two teams, but the top two runners, that's awesome. And to have bragging routes across Henderson County is great. You know, Addison Dockery, we always try to connect the dots around here up here in the press box, and one of those is her dad, Chad Dockery, is a member of our coaching staff for Plainfield and does a great job, been a part of the staff for a couple years now, and I'm sure Addie has the same positive attitude on the cross-country team that her dad does as a football coach.
Absolutely. Great young lady. You can tell she comes from her dad's a coach. You know, she has been a great leader for us, both with her, her performance running-wise and just bringing young girls along and kind of leading the way, having been a varsity runner herself for a few years. Great member of our girls program.
Great to hear that. You're doing a great job, Coach Hoffman. Really proud of you and the girls and boys and all the things that they're doing. And, a lot of folks like myself, not a huge fan of just going out and running for a couple hours, but, it takes a lot of mental toughness, and I'm always impressed with whenever I'm leaving school, your kids are just starting out on the run, and they'll be back after pounding the pavement for quite some time. So we're going to give some statistics from the first half, kind of wrap things up, and then we'll get live here in just a minute. The Quakers had a great first half. Mr. Menser and I talked about the fact that they were able to control the game, have over 200 yards of total offense, 70 on the ground, 150 through the air. Perry is being held to just 81. I guess a chunk of that on that last couple of possessions there. 59 on the ground, only 22 through the air. Warren is the leading rusher for Perry. He's got 38 yards on 13 carries. McDonald has 26 and the lone touchdown. Jalen Summers, the tight end, has two catches for 24 yards. The leading passer is Rollman. He has both of the completions for 22 yards. On the Quakers side, Nieto is leading the way with 42 yards rushing and a touchdown. Beebe also has a touchdown on 11 yards. Vanderbush has 50 yards receiving and a touchdown. Beebe has 42 yards and a touch. And Blake Woodard also with one catch for 14. But our leading receiver right now is Noah Hessong. He has those 5 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown, doing a nice job in the intermediate passing game. So thanks for sitting down with me, Coach Hoffman. I know you've got some huddle work to do for the Quaker staff and helping your brothers out of coaching out, and we're going to go to the second half. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
All right, so here we go. Perry Meridian kicks off deep. It's going to be caught by Starnes a couple yards deep in the end zone, and that'll be a touchback, and we'll come out to the 20-yard line here for the Quakers. Looks like, trying to see, I see Aiden in the huddle here. Looks like we're going to bring the starters back out. Only a 28-point lead for the Quakers. Perry did a nice job of taking advantage of the penalty there at the end of the first half and getting a touchdown and kind of changing the momentum. So Quakers go three receivers to Moyer's right, one to the left. Nieto flanks Moyers to his right. He looks over to the sideline to get the next call, see how he likes the adjust of the defense. Quick screen outside to Hessong. A lot of physicality out there by the receivers, both both Cooper Springs as well as Vanderbush being physical at the point of attack and really allowed Hessong to get the edge and turn the corner. 2nd and short. Coach Menser back here in the press box. He had a couple cheeseburgers he had to get away. Had to have some dinner. Now we're ready to watch the second half of football.
One of my favorite things about high school sports is the concession stand.
Looked like they were doing good work down there. All right, Woodard goes in motion from right to left. Here comes Nieto following him on the left-hand side. Great leg drive by Nieto, as well as the Quaker offensive line. Pushes Perry Meridian back, and it's going to be a first down. Don't see 6 BB back in the game for the Quakers. Looks like 85. Caden Smith has answered the call here. He's the receiver to the left, to the bottom of your screen. Springs is there in the slot. You got Hessong and Vanderbush to the top of the screen. Nieto to Moyer's right. Snap, quick fake to Nieto. Ball goes out in the flat quickly to Hessong. Going to see how it's ruled.
Incomplete. Nice job by number 5.
I don't know, Coach. We're looking at the officials. They're going to get together and talk about this. It's either catch and fumble or incomplete. I think it was incomplete, but the side judge was not in a great position to see it. He's looking for help from both the back judge and the referee, both looking in that direction. Umpire.
Yeah, I thought number 5, Alex Reyes.
Looks like a complete pass with a fumble. That's another turnover. Like I said, Perry Meridian defense has created 6 turnovers on the year. That's going to be number 7. That's a big play. This is not what Coach Woodard wanted. He definitely didn't want to come out and give the ball right back, a short porch. We've played a lot of football on this. What would this be? The west end of the field here, and Quakers need to put out a fire. A lot of times, and my brother was lucky enough to play at Wabash College and played for some really good coaches there, tons of success. But one of the things that their sideline did was every time they turned the ball over and it was a bad play, they would celebrate it. They would be excited. They'd get fired up because they knew that at that moment, more than any other time in the game, they needed to be fired up. Here goes McDonald. He leaves his feet, and Anderson flips him over, but not before he gets 6 or 7 yards and going to bring up second down.
Yeah, he's done a much better job of getting into space, and he's a tough kid to tackle once he does that. And the last drive they had of the first half, and right here he's able to get some good yardage for Perry Meridian.
He has a different speed than Warren for sure. Mason Scott filled that just like he did earlier in the game when Warren was carrying the ball and resulted in maybe a tackle for loss. And in that play, he was able to avoid him. Oh, we got a pass here. McDonald with a good arm looks down the field and had number 3 there streaking down the left-hand sideline. Number 3 is Zach Eggy, and the senior the ball goes sailing over his head. Looked like Hessong was there on defense for the Quakers, and will bring up third down.
Really, like you said, though, good ball. Might be another option they can look at as they move into their season.
Coach Cooper and Coach McDonald, the offensive coordinator, are probably coming up with some things here as they go a little bit. Oh, there's a counter play. He gets nice job really getting north and south. Warren put his right foot in the ground and got vertical there up the right behind his guard as he turned up, and that was enough for the first down. And Perry Meridian's got to, at this point in the half, is really clicking. All right, so the Quakers are again, they're trying to match the momentum here, the feel of what's going on. So now Perry's going with a tight end and a wing to the top of the field, trying to create a lot of gaps, and that's allowing McDonald to stretch and try to get the edge there. Hessong goes for his ankles and does a nice job of shoving him out of bounds, and it's going to be maybe for a loss of a yard there, and brings up second and maybe 12, maybe loss of 2.
Yeah, good play by Noah there. Was able to, even if he didn't get him totally out of bounds, puts a little pressure on him so that other teammates can come and finish the play, but was able to run him out of bounds with the hit.
Definitely want to keep these guys going side to side. We've had a lot more success kind of stringing them along than letting them put their foot in the ground and get vertical, and that's definitely what both McDonald and Warren are doing to cause problems. McDonald takes the snap, pulls it, comes straight up the middle, breaks it, gets through there, 56, pardon me, 50.
It's like 66 strains
66
wrapped them
strains,
up at the end there.
That was a good job, but not before he made up the lost yard, plus about another 5. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and 5. Ball's in the middle of the field. Perry continues to go with a tight end and a wing. They're actually playing with 6 offensive linemen at this point. Mr. 50 looks like a tight end, but he's an offensive lineman, and they've got him and Summers to the right. Warren runs to the right, trying to get the edge. Mason Scott and Herbeck are both there. Looks like Baker's chasing it down from behind as well, and that, again, got them going side to side. That's where we're having an advantage there. Oh, and in comes Nestor Gomez, 99 for the PAT. He hasn't, or for the field goal. He hasn't kicked a field goal, I don't think, this year, according to Max Preps. The ball is going to be on the 29-yard line. That'll be a 39-yard field goal for the left footer. He got the wind at his back. That'll definitely aid this here. Ball is low and just to the right. Going to be no good. So no harm, no foul there for the Quakers. They're able to bend a little bit but not break, and now the ball comes back to the Quaker offense and Aiden Moyers, and they're going to try to get something going offensively and see if we can get some points on the board.
Yeah, it's I think about the movie Remember the Titans, and that reminds me of Perry Meridian right now, as they're running the same play over and over again, and that McDonald's been elusive, and once they hand it to somebody else, it's a different speed, and we're able to tackle them, and that 3rd down play gave it to 27, and we were able to wrap them up. Well, and that's helping us. I mean, I think we have better players on defense right now than they have offensively, and we're able to, our players can make plays against them, and that's a good thing. All right, Woodard to the right, Nieto in the pistol right behind Moyers. He goes straight ahead with a big gain. I saw a flat back block there, an old Jacob Bird, and 72. That's Jason Smith. He was blocking his guy 10 yards down the field and really getting after him after that big gain. Yeah, Dylan Ponder as well is 10-yard down blocking it. So great job by the offensive line. All right, so Quaker snapped the ball quick, maybe a little bit too quick. There's a whistle and a flag. False start. So, one of the things to take, you're trying to play fast like that. Everybody on your offensive unit has to be set for a full second. And that full second has to happen before anybody goes in motion, or in this case, anybody snaps the ball. We just weren't all set there, and definitely that desire to play fast, which Coach Moyers does at times, wasn't able to get that translated into action there. All right, so 20 personnel for the Quakers. They're going to go with the 3 wide receivers. That's Vanderbush to the right by himself. You have Hessong in the slot, Smith out here to the bottom of your screen. Woodard goes in motion from right to left. Nieto straight behind Moyers. He's going to go straight ahead again. This play has been good. He's doing a nice job. Little jump cuts, working side to side to try to find the gap there. This time he's able to pick up about 5 yards, maybe 6, and able to make up that penalty and bring up 2nd and 9. All right, so Quakers have 2nd and 9 here. We definitely want to, looking to get 5 or 6 of this bag, make it 3rd and manageable. Want to get some momentum. Need to try to. Here comes Nieto. He gets some space, switches hands, puts it in his left hand, follows right behind Smith, and is able to get, I think, almost all of those yards back and enough to push on for a Quaker 1st down. Ball will be on the left hash mark here. It's a nice job by the offensive line. The whole left side there really creating push. That's Smith and Hayes, I think. Both those guys created a nice edge there and allowed Nieto to roll it right off the edge. Yeah, he put his foot in the ground too. He initially was on the right side of the line, cut it back left, and was able to get to 10 yards. All right, bootleg here. Moore's working to his right, got a lot of pressure on him. Ball is over the head of Hessong and goes out of bounds. Yeah, I think you got Blake in the flat there, wide open, didn't see him. Almost completed it still there. Just, those 2 Perry jerseys right in his face. Mason Scott did that earlier for the Quaker defense, and when you're able to get in the quarterback's face,
that really helps. And that's one thing that some defenses design, that if the quarterback tries to break contain, that you go ahead and you rush him and you blitz him there. All right, Quakers go unbalanced. They have two receivers on the line to the right, creating that extra gap. Here comes Nieto to that right side. He cuts it back, picks up a block from Vanderbush. Perry Meridian drives him back, but not before he picks up 8 yards, and it'll bring up third down and short right at midfield. So the Perry defense definitely having some success running the ball, wearing them down. There are a couple guys trying to play both ways, and they're definitely wearing out. And one thing I've noticed in the second half, now that McDonald is playing quarterback, he's not playing on the defensive side. Makes sense, asking him to do a lot of things. That means Landon Egan, the sophomore, is checked in at corner. Fake to Hessong. Here comes Nieto up the middle. He runs his legs. Man, it's going to be close. It's going to be just short, I think, if the judge, the official to the top is accurate. It's going to be just short. It's going to be fourth and less than a yard. All right, what's Coach Woodard's answer here? They've crossed midfield here. Quakers are known for a good hard count. That'd be a good opportunity here. Here goes Woodard to the left in the super back position. Nieto right behind Moyers. They look over to the side. They get the signal. Quakers utilizing multiple signalers. They've got 4 guys signaling over from the sidelines, trying to confuse the defense as to who's the actual live signaler. Here's the give to Nieto. He goes straight ahead. Man, that did a nice job on a run through there by the linebacker, but guessed the wrong gap, and Nieto did a nice job of kind of sliding through there for the first down.
So I saw one switch sides right at the end of that play call. What does that do? Shift the formation?
Well, it probably what happened was when they looked to the sideline, they decided instead of running to the right, they were going to run to the left. Easier to take the ball as a running back from right to left there instead of going straight ahead. Starnes checks in the backfield. He's right behind Moyers. There it is. There's that change of pace. Quick burst. He goes straight ahead. Gain of 9 yards, going to bring up second and short. Starnes does a really nice job of having that. He's 5'5", 155. Definitely gets lost out there, and the senior running back is a great compliment to Nieto, the junior, who's 5'10", 210. Definitely two different style runners, and Quakers are taking advantage of going a little thunder and lightning tonight.
Yeah, you'll probably know this player better than I do, but it reminds me of the NFL. Sproles, the guy that's had a long career with the Saints and the Eagles and so forth, and just shoots out of that hole, and it's hard to find.
Well, and those kind of guys have a hard time. Oh, play action pass. Had Vanderbush going down the field. Ball was a little bit behind him. Cale was able to get a hand on it, but not able to bring it down, and so it'll fall incomplete, third and 1. As an offensive coordinator, you've got a part on your call sheet that's second and short. And as soon as you see that, you go, which of these shots do I want to take? And you've been working on them all week, and we've actually seen that one earlier with a big gain to Vanderbush earlier in the game, and they tried to go to that well again, and pass was just a little bit behind him. All right, Quakers go unbalanced. Woodard and Vanderbush both on the line of scrimmage to the left. Smith, there's Starnes straight ahead. Smith was the wing. They try Starnes on the left-hand side. He is going to be close, but I think it's going to bring up fourth down, and the Quakers come right back with Nieto. They're going to watch the ball here for sure. Another possibility for a hard count. Nieto's done a nice job of having good forward lean on these short down distances. I know we don't. You're not a big fan of giving it to that running back, but I like Nieto downhill. He does a nice job of going downhill, especially we spend our whole time in the shotgun, so that fits our style. All right, well, the Quakers take a timeout. They're gonna go over to the sideline and talk about what they think they want to do here from fourth down. Ball's on the 36. This is a 53-yard field goal, even as well as Nichols is kicking the ball right now into the wind. That's not really an option. So they're gonna talk it over. They're gonna get a measurement. Maybe it wasn't a timeout. Maybe it's just going for the measurement. I didn't see the signal. I just assumed when everybody walked off the field. Technically, neither team should be outside the numbers at this point. They didn't. Looks like a first down. First down for the Quakers.
First down Quakers.
Well, it looks like Whiteland is pulling ahead of Franklin, 45-21. Coach Fisher's team in that home contest, definitely doing some good things. Both teams are very good. Franklin is a good team who who beat this Perry Meridian team 35-0 last week. I talked about Coach Cooper earlier, and I didn't get to circle back to him yet. So Coach Brett Cooper, the head coach here, is in his first season with Perry Meridian. His dad, Robin Cooper, was the head football coach at University of Evansville and was actually their last coach when they decided to get out of football back in 1997. Coach Cooper had a long career as a head coach at both University of Evansville, McMurray College, and North Park University, which, if my dates are right, he coached Brett at North Park up in Chicago. But the connection here is that Coach Cooper was Coach Woodard's head football coach in college. So Coach Cooper coached Coach Brian Woodard down there at the University of Evansville. He was a Purple Ace there, was an offensive lineman, was a very successful player both at Avon and at Evansville. There's actually 3 members of this Plainfield coaching staff who played on the teams coached by Coach Cooper, along with Coach Woodard. You also have Coach Sloan and Coach Mitten. John Mitten was a freshman volunteer assistants, and Kevin Sloan, we've mentioned multiple times, is the special teams coordinator and defensive line coach. So kind of fun to see those guys who played together in college continue to coach in high school and now get to coach against their old coach.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Obviously, my connection with Coach Seifert, our principal, I played for him in high school, so I can't imagine those guys getting reconnected. And obviously, you want to compete, do your best, but I'm sure there'll be a very warm handshake or maybe elbow after the game.
Yeah, social distance. Got to keep everybody safe, but you're right. I'm sure they're glad to see each other again, and it's been a while probably. I know I don't get to see my college coaches quite as much as I would like. Oh, there's Nieto, tries the middle of the field, middle of the offensive line again. Man, almost 10 yards again right off the handoff from Moyers, and is down inside the 5. The Quakers continue to knock on the door here.
Really good answer here by the Quakers. We had a couple of stagnant possessions there, and this one we're controlling the line of scrimmage. We're moving the ball, but ready to put it in for a touchdown.
Yeah, we scored on our first 5 possessions. That answered those 35 points, and I think we had 3 or 4 possessions in a row, a couple punts, turnover obviously on the catch and fumble, and that has kind of put us in this position. And now the Quakers come down and answer. I think the football gods were mad at me when I started talking about the potential for the mercy rule in the second half, and didn't happen as a result. Any time you start talking about something like a no-hitter, once you start talking about it, you pretty much ruin your chances, and I think that's what happened here. I take single responsibility. I'll tell Coach Woodard on Monday it was my fault, and I'm sorry. All right, so here we go. Quakers looking to score here inside the 5, first down and goal. Moyers has Nieto behind him, Woodard to his left. Here goes Nieto to the left, pulls through a couple tackles, and he's in for a touchdown. I believe that's Juan's second touchdown of the night. He's got a pair of touchdowns, as does Beebe. And that's a nice job pushing it in and pushing the Quakers up to 41 total points on the evening. I'm not speaking too soon. I'm not going to talk about it until the extra point goes in, and then we can discuss quickly what that rule, the new rule instituted by the IHSAA that went into effect last year, what that means for the timing of the remaining minutes of this game. All right, Nichols looks at the extra point. Snap, hold, kick is up. It's good. And so with 1 minute and 18 seconds to go in the third quarter, the Quakers take a 42-7 lead. That puts them to that 35-point threshold. And if my understanding of the rule is correct now, it'll be a running clock. There'll be dead balls on change of possession, as like we have right now. But the normal play, whether it's a run, pass, first down, the clock will continue to run. It would stop on an injury. And now that this rule goes into effect, it will continue. So if for some reason, if Perry goes on a run and they start answering and scoring, the mercy rule timing will be in effect for the remainder of the game. I think this is a good rule. There are, in this case, these are two, conference opponents. You don't get these kind of situations in conference games very often. But there are times early in the year, where you get some non-conference games where teams are maybe a little bit outmatched, and rules like this kind of keep games competitive. So we'll see. We'll see how the timing goes here. But with a minute 18, Nichols will put the ball on the right hash mark. Wonderful to see some subs, maybe some younger guys, some guys who don't get a chance to play on Friday nights typically may get a shot here as the game continues. Coach Woodard, I know, having coached with him for for 10 years, know that he likes to work in those, get those subs a chance, get those guys an opportunity. And sometimes you find a diamond in the rough there, and you find a guy who can maybe help you on special teams and the like moving forward.
Well, the other thing it does is I think at this point both teams' goal is to get out of here healthy. And so for both coaches, they want to obviously keep competing, but make sure we get to next week healthy.
Fumble. Ball's out. That's a nice job by the Quakers. 23, Isaiah Hunter hit a gap and was starting to find some daylight. And as he was tackled from behind, the Quaker did a nice job punching the ball out. And 29 for the Quakers. That's Garrett Kane, the junior linebacker, was able to punch that ball out, and that was a big play. All right, so
looks like Aiden's still in the huddle.
All right, Aiden's still in the huddle here. Maybe they told him they'd get to finish the quarter, which with the running clock, that may not be a whole lot of time. So with 37 seconds here to go, the Quakers will take over. Not sure if the clock was supposed to be running there. Maybe it was. So it looks like the play clock was started after the game clock dropped underneath 25 seconds. So they don't have to run another play, and it doesn't look like Coach Woodard will. He's going to gather his guys on the sideline. We'll flip ends of the field, and instead of heading to the east, Quakers will head to the west. As long as my sense of direction isn't off. My grandfather was a bombardier navigator in the Air Force. He'd be mad at me if I looking down at me from heaven, having my directions all mixed up there. But I think it's to the west, and so Quakers will take over. Looks like again that the ones are still in the huddle here, and they want to finish, probably get like you said, they had a couple bad possessions, but they're going to want to turn things around.
Looks like younger Moyers walking in the huddle right now.
All right, that would be 7. That's Eric Moyers. I believe he's a sophomore. And then Eric will jump in here in the huddle with the Quakers. Looks like he's got the rest of the starters, though, with him. Always good. It was always challenging. I was a backup quarterback in college and was the backup early in my career in high school as well. And, when you come out there with a whole group of guys you never got to work with, it can be a challenge. But I'm sure Eric gets snaps with these guys on, during the week just in case something happens to Big Brother. And here he goes, number 7.
Well, I know he's got a rocket because his freshman year I was in the field house working out and he was throwing balls and I played some catch with him and my hands hurt afterwards. So he can wing it around. Well,
we'll see what he's got here. Eric is also has been a member of the basketball team as a freshman. Was a football player as well, and gets a chance to be coached by his dad and play with his older brother. Pretty cool opportunity. Eric takes a snap, gets a little bit loose, but Starnes is able to make the mesh and up inside for a gain of more than 10 yards. I don't think that's how they drew it up, but Eric did a nice job of using his balance and finding his running back, and thank goodness I didn't have to run it there. So another Mid-State Conference score there. It looks like Mooresville has stretched out their lead against Greenwood 41-6. Reminder that Mooresville was who the Quakers played last week, and Greenwood is who the Quakers will play next week when we travel down to Johnson County to take on Greenwood. All right, Moyers has 2 backs in the backfield. Starnes right behind him in the pistol. Give to Starnes. Starnes tries the middle again. The Quaker offensive line is just creating huge holes in there, and Starnes is hitting them quickly. All right. Oh. Luke Leclerc checks in. He's the wide receiver down here to the bottom. Subbed in for, looks like Vanderbush and Hessong are on the sidelines there, joining Aiden Moyers. So Leclerc, the junior wide receiver down here at number 33. Give to Starnes. Starnes tries the left side, puts his foot in the ground. There's a flag on the play. Looks like there might have been a hold there at the point of attack. So, we talk about holding. That's one of those penalties probably could get called on every play. As an offensive coach, I never thought it was a holding. Defensive coaches think that's all we do is hold on offense. But, a lineman can get away with holding and using his hands because that's how you teach the block. As long as his hand stays in the frame and he stays squared up with the defensive player. When an offensive player's hands get outside of his frame where he's kind of stretched out and reaching to grab somebody, that's when they call holding. And it's more, you can see it, it's going to look like a grab versus more of a hold where his hands are inside, and I think that's what happened there to the Quakers. All right, Eric Moyers gives to Starnes again. He tries the right side, is able to get a few yards, but the Perry Meridian defense stiffens, and it's going to bring up a third down. Oh, maybe looks like we've got the dreaded
shoe off.
Shoe off. Okay, good. I thought he was catching a cramp, and nobody wants to. Oh,
Maybe
maybe he is.
I thought they were putting his shoe back on, but
I
it
thought
looks like
for
he
a
has a
second.
cramp. Hope he's okay.
It's a good move by Coach Cooper and the Perry Meridian staff. Get him out here, make sure he's okay, and I'm sure they're going to want to get him right back on the field because he was part of that play and made the tackle. Bootleg, get Woodard out in the flat. Oh, he's got Cooper on the second level. Oh, nice throw there by Moyers, just a little hot, and then Cooper Springs had a hard time pulling it down. It's going to bring up fourth down. Springs was able to work himself free there, and in comes Nichols. We're going to try a field goal here.
With the win.
With the win. Definitely going to be a good. Ball's going to be on the 28. So those of you scoring at home here, here's how we do this. 28 yards. Holder is 7 yards deep. 28 plus 7 is 35. End zone is 10 yards deep. So this kick will be, depending on who's marking it down, either a 40. Ball's on the 23, plus 7 is 30, plus 10 is 40. So this is going to be a 40-yard field goal. Man, looked really good, but it was going to be just right. I always listen to my dad coach, and Dad always talked about with a field goal kicker, and Coach Woodard says the same thing, make it look like a kick. He got it up in the air, gave it a ride. He didn't just burn a one iron down, straight down the field, gave it up in the air and gave it a shot.
Yeah, I don't have any kicking knowledge, but I always, when that ball's spinning end over end, you can tell he got a good foot on it.
Yeah, it looked good, and I was trying to do the math, and don't tell anybody I screwed it up. I messed where the ball was. So it's always 7 yards deep for the hold and then 10 yards in the end zone. So you end up adding 17 to wherever the ball's from. All right, so Perry Meridian is going to go back out on offense. McDonald is now back out at receiver. Can't get a number on the quarterback. That's back to
10.
Rollman. Yeah, 10. Mason Rollman, the junior, is back in. They're going to sub in a new running back, 25. That's Wayne Day. He's a sophomore. He's probably their answer to Grant Starnes, right? He's 5'8", 160 compared to 5'10", 210, which was Warren, which is very similar to Nieto. So I go a little smaller, shifty guy. Watched him in warm-ups. He was pretty quick. I was impressed by him. For the Quakers, glad he hasn't had many touches yet tonight. All right. Quick throw, got a slant in there, and that's a nice job. Who was that? Number 20. That's Caleb Weigel. He does a nice job getting his hand on the ball and knocking it down. Nate Torres is in at the other corner for the Quakers. Oh, bad snap. Man, that was a great job. Landon Drennan, the freshman, number 8, seeing some action tonight. He's seen some action on special teams, but first time I've seen him out on the defensive side. Did a nice job coming in there and making a tackle in the backfield for his probably first tackle for loss in his career.
Yeah, seems like a promising player. I remember calling his name a couple times on the PA last week at the end of the game against Mooresville, so good job.
That's good. That's a great job by him, and made a nice play there. All right, so McDonald goes deep to punt here. We're down to 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter here. Quakers lead 42-7. McDonald works left. Rugby-style kick is going to be deep. Oh, it's going to take a hop. Not quite sure if it was touched or not. We're going to see how it's. No, it was not touched by a Quaker player. So the Plainfield will retain possession after the downing of the ball there by number 4. That's James Barnes, the senior defensive lineman, gets down the field and was able to down the ball. Luckily for the Quakers, wasn't touched.
When you talk about game experience, I mean, Hunter Herbeck's typically our punt returner, but as Carson Works gets some opportunity, so he'll learn from that. obviously I'm assuming Coach Woodard would either want him to run up and get that ball or get away from it.
It's interesting you bring up Coach Woodard. He coaches the punt returners, has forever, because he knows how important that is. There's a lot of yards a lot of bad things can happen waiting on the punt back there, and Coach Woodard did a nice job of does a nice job of coaching the guys. We're missing 2 offensive linemen at this point. We've got only 9 guys on the field. Here comes one guy jogging out there. That's 51. That's Aiden Welty, the sophomore, and he's going to be joined by 62 Wyatt Helton. He's a sophomore. So now the Quakers got 5 up front. I'm going to do my best. They're going to switch guard and tackle there. Snap to Moyer's give here is the 16. That's Works. He was deep on the punt, and try to give you a few more names of who's out there. Springs and Smith are still out there at receiver with Leclerc. Also see 50. That's Connor Riggins. He's at right tackle. 36 is your super back. That's Tony Quinn, the junior. He's in there as well, replacing Blake Woodard. Perry Meridian has also made a few substitutions. We'll give you some of those numbers as they make plays for Perry. Warriors looks for the snap, takes it, gives it to Works. Works with a nice cut in the hole, cuts it back, breaks it back to the left side, keeps alive. Perry Meridian does a nice job of getting the football, including number 44. He's been in on lots of plays tonight. That's Isaiah Harwell. He had a pass broken up earlier in the night for a big play.
Yeah, 16 Carson Works has some really nice feet there. Got to bounce it outside. He's a former quarterback, JV quarterback last year, and does a really nice job running the ball.
He does a good job. He's a good athlete, understands the offense, obviously, and understands his role, and is finding ways to help on kick returns and holds and punt returns. And, that's the kind of guy, you can't have too many guys like that on your team. He goes straight ahead. It's going to be just short, I think, about a half a yard short. It's going to bring up 4th down. And Coach Woodard's going to bring in a different running back. 17, that's Troy Larson. New runner. He's going to check in. He's a 5'7", 130-pound sophomore. Going to be 4th and short. Coach Woodard's probably going to just let this clock continue to run down. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see here. 3.5 minutes is all that remains in the game. That quick clock rule, man, that makes this second half go so fast. Give is to Larison. He tries the right-hand side, and 34 and 18. 18 is Jawan Dale, and 34 is Ronan Hammond. Both of those guys team up on the tackle for a loss, and in comes the Perry offense, and the Quaker defense will come back out on the field. We're going to get some subs there, and I'll try to give you some of these names. We got Ross Good. He's out here at the right corner. 81, 31 to the top of your screen. That's Nate Torres. He was in on the last possession as well. 24, that's Thomas Nicewander. I know Thomas. He was a former ball boy for the Quakers. You got Burkhart still in here at outside linebacker. He's done a nice job tonight so far. Drennan, I think, is the outside backer to the top. High snap. Roman's able to pull it down. There's Drennan again. He's on. That's tackle for loss number 2 for him, and both he and 59. That's going to be Isaac Mascalier. The sophomore defensive lineman, they team up for the tackle for loss, going to bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, you look at this. This is a big win. Obviously, brings us back to 500 at 2-2 and 1-1 in the conference, going into a big game next week on the road at Greenwood.
Yeah, so Greenwood is losing to Mooresville. That's going to move their record to 2-2, 0-2 in the conference. The Quakers will improve to 2-2. 1-1 in the conference, so that'll move them ahead of Greenwood in the conference standings, and it's going to be a big game. That's always a really hard-fought match. Hard to go down to Johnson County, to Greenwood, to take on that team. They're really well coached. Perry is going to fall to 0-4, 0-3 in the conference. They'll head to Whiteland next week, and will join us in Johnson County, and they have a 7 p.m. kickoff there against the Warriors. Whiteland, at last check, was beating Franklin. I haven't seen a final score there yet, but that's where it was. So looks like with 1:12 to go here, Perry goes under center, gives it there, straight ahead. Running back tries the left side of the line, met by a swarm of Quakers, including 43. That's Mason Sheets. 50, I think it's Riggins, Connor Riggins in there on the tackle. 52 as well. Damian Golden making plays up there for the defensive line and Coach Sloan's group. So 50 seconds to go in the game here. 45-21 was the Whiteland final score, or an updated score. Updated score there. We don't have a ticker up here. We're using Twitter and text messages from Mr. Rodkey, and we're doing our best to keep track of what's going on as the game progresses here.